So we're going to get right into it. Nier Automata. Little development history. It was designed by Platinum Games and published by Square Enix in February of 2017 for Japan, and it came out a month later on March for everywhere else worldwide, which is very impressive considering usually when things come out in Japan first, we have to wait a little bit, but only a month is nothing. I like that these worldwide releases are happening so much easier now.
That's what it should be.
Yeah, we don't have to wait 10 years to get the real version of a game anymore. Looking at you, Final Fantasy 12. Looking at you, Vaughn.
Yeah, and developed by the guy Yokotaro, who did the Drakengard's 1, 2, and 3, and the first Nier on the PS3.
Back in 2010.
Yeah, we got two versions of that Nier, Replica and Discot, I believe, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he does a lot of good work. Many of his games are very popular.
He's a very auteur game maker.
I wouldn't say they're very. I would say they're very popular with like a small fan base, though.
Yeah, well, my point of being popular is like, if 10 people play his game, 9 like him.
Yes.
You know, he gets great reviews from the people who play it.
And I think it's spreading about how many people, the fan base of this franchise.
This game, Nier Automata, made it very popular, the whole series in general. I know people who have never touched a Drakengard game or the first Nier, and they went back and played all 4 of them.
Right.
So.
Yep. It's a...
he has crazy ideas, too.
Oh, yeah. He's very creative and a good innovator.
Yes.
So, what's our initial response on this game before we get into the plot?
So when we first talked about let's review Nier, my first impression of me personally was like, oh god, I don't know. Like, it didn't appeal to me visually. I watched a lot of videos about it on YouTube. I was kind of dreading it a little bit playing this game, but I could say after my first playthrough and beating it the first time, I really enjoyed my experience. The game won me over very quickly. It was a good time. The combat was fun and fluid. I liked collecting the weapons. The story was good. The music was great. The character design and the art was wonderful. I feel like it has a lot to say about philosophy, which is awesome. It's a good game. It's a really good game. This game came out the same year as like Persona 5 and Breath of the Wild. Like a year ago, I think. And so when people say this is their game of the year, I'm like, this is a good game. I don't know if it's like in that same family as Persona 5 and Breath of the Wild, but for me personally, at least, it's good. It's a good game.
This game came out the same year as Persona 5 and Zelda, and same year as Horizon as well, and
yeah,
this game has been on my list since I saw it at E3 with the character designs of 2B and A2 and 9S, and it was like, at first I was like, all right, this is a fan service game, but then I started looking into it, and it was like, and I started reading the lore of the prequels to it, the kind of prequels to it that are like kind of connected in general, like Nier, and then the Drakengard series as well. And I had the game for a while, so I finally had time to play it, and I reviewed it, and I think it's an amazing game. I think it lives up to what the series is all about, with the crazy connections and everything, as well as being a very good game. And at the time when the Game of the Year was around, I was saying Horizon should be Game of the Year, and Nier changed mine completely, and I do believe Nier should.
You think Nier is better than Horizon Zero Dawn?
I think Nier is better than Horizon Zero Dawn.
I agree.
I think Nier is better. I think Nier, story-wise and gameplay-wise, felt better to me than Breath of the Wild.
I have not beaten Breath, so I can't make.
Story-wise.
Story-wise, yes.
Okay, I could kind of.
Story-wise and gameplay-wise.
The story is very shallow in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah,
so
that's the thing though. Zelda games in general feel to me, I feel like it's the same exact story, kind of.
The stories are
all right.
Couldn't be more different.
All right.
Versus
Well,
Zelda
anyway, and then
Let's
I
wait till you
haven't.
beat it, and we'll come
and
back
then
to
I
this.
haven't finished. I just started Persona 5, so I wouldn't say it's better than Persona 5. But right now, I think Nier should have been Game of the Year.
You still have like 90 hours in
I have
Persona
90 hours
5,
of Persona 5
so
still.
We have to hold that judgment till that
Wow.
as well.
Okay.
Andre's like killing me already.
We have to play these games soon, so we can go back and look at this moment.
Yeah. All right. I'm just preserving.
I agree with you, except I agreed with you up to Horizon Zero Dawn. I liked Horizon Zero Dawn, but here's the thing: I only have a few hours in the Breath, and I'm really enjoying it, so I'm reserving judgment on it. And Persona 5 is a very hardcore RPG, and I am all about hardcore RPGs, so I can honestly see this taking over. I mean, don't be wrong. I am probably going to be the biggest praiser of this game on this podcast, but
We shall see.
I don't know. You both have your little bit of issues. I really don't have many,
True.
if any.
You're right.
But I loved it. I love this game, but I will reserve judgment until I've played these other games that did beat it out for good Game of the Year and were higher rated. Yeah. So I'm going to not side with the masses, but I'm going to wait and see, make my own judgment.
Right. So let's talk about this game's plot. Christian, you probably spent the most time diving into the lore of this game and the world of this game. So you want to tell us what happens?
Chris delved so deep into the lore of this game, and I'm sure he found some weird ass porn, but he's not telling us yet.
Oh, that's not weird.
Maybe links will be in show notes.
There's a ton of lore for this game besides just the game. Just like in Final Fantasy 15, there is just where there was like a separate anime.
Lots of extra credit stuff.
There's a lot of extra stuff for Nier. There's 2 stage plays that were just shown in Japan, so we don't even have it. Like we have it translated pretty much. That's about it.
Yeah.
There's a drama CD that you can listen to that's voiced by the same guy who voiced Nier, who voiced 2B's Pod. And then if you actually play, if you got the collector's edition, I believe of Dragon Guard 3 a while back before Nier Automata came out, there is a little thing in there that you can either, I think it's read, that preludes the Automata. So it's like crazy stuff. But before we get to that, let's do the main story. So you start off as 2B, and you're pretty much coming down to visit a place.
You're in this little squad with these like exosuits, and you're trying to take down this Goliath-sized machine.
Yeah, in the abandoned factory, and you meet up with another character named 9S.
Yeah, 9S is more of a hacking support android.
Scanner
more
model.
Of a combat.
He's a scanner model.
Yeah.
Scanner model. Yeah.
And then they pretty much fight. They look for this Goliath class machine and fight it, and end up using their black box system, which is kind of like their heart, pretty much in the game.
It's more like their soul.
Yeah.
Black
All right.
It's more like their soul, and then so they connect their black boxes, creating a like self detonate to destroy the Goliath machines, because they take down the initial one. And by working together after the rest of 2B squad's wiped out, and they connect their black boxes and they wipe out all of the other like three more Goliaths that show up around them. But the thing about the androids is that their bodies are mass produced in the space station, which is their base.
The bunker.
The bunker. Yeah. So even though their bodies may die, their souls and their memories kind of
as long as they upload them.
As long as they upload them, right.
Good upload speed.
So
no Comcast in the future.
So pretty much that you wake up as 2B, and you at this time 9S is helping you set your brightness, set your sound levels, and
fun thing here is he help you tailor the settings in the options menu, and when you replay the game after you beat this version, you'll play as 9S, and then everything you did when you fucked with your options menus will be replayed for you in this portion. Yeah. So the game memorizes your choices.
It pretty much records what you did.
Yes.
Yeah.
Literally records it.
So then after that, you and 9S are 2B and 9S are sent down to Earth to do like reconnaissance and help the resistance camp down there.
Right.
And I'm not sure actually where on Earth that you're sent to.
I assume it's like California.
You think? Yeah.
Because it has to be someplace near the ocean. It has to be someplace near a desert. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And someplace where a major city is.
Yeah.
And a forest.
And a forest. Yeah. So California would probably be the most.
So and then you pretty much help the resistance camp, and you're sent into the desert to.
Well, hold on. Let's backtrack a little bit. So when you go help out the resistance, you're helping the resistance because the resistance are a bunch of androids that are intertwined with this endless struggle against machines. And now most of you who have never played these games are like, well, are androids machines? Kinda. So an android is something that is basically a robot made to look and act and be a human. Okay, but a machine is like
it's more sentient.
It's more sentient, but well, that's where we get a little gray and murky in the plot. But anyway,
once I said more,
a machine. No, they're equally as sentient. So, but a machine is basically not made to model after a human. It's just built of different shapes and sizes, and it just looks like a fucking
to do one certain task.
Machine. Yeah, to do a task. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But they're equally as sentient, and you learn that throughout the plot of this game. Is that machines, just like androids, do have emotions and feelings and connections, and it's so that's what the game is trying to tell you as you're playing through it.
Yeah.
So that's what the resistance camp is purpose is, and that's why you're going to help them. And then you go to the desert to help out the resistance there, and then there is a renegade machine or something like that that you're tracking down through a ruined city in the desert, and then you have your, I would say, second boss fight of the game, where you fight a bunch of machines. And what do the machines say before they start forming together? They chant something together. I forget what it is.
Yeah, I don't actually remember.
I don't know.
Well, I know.
I thought they were chanting, "I don't want to die."
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
I'm pretty
I know.
sure.
Well, when you enter that camp, actually, right before the boss fight, they're trying to create, like a baby, pretty much. Like, they're pretty much trying to learn how to have sex.
No, that's not what they're doing. So you track down this renegade
they are.
machine, and it leads you back to an area where there's a bunch of robots simulating having sex with each other and having babies. And you're fighting them, and it's kind of like a shocking, fucked up moment because you're like, am I killing babies? Am I killing people trying to have sex? Like, but no, they're machines. They don't know what they're doing. And then they form together, and they create this like white liquid. And then out of this white liquid is born basically an android, but 2B and 9S call it a machine, but it
is a machine, yes.
It's as much a machine as they are, though, because it's like it looks like them, it acts like them, except they can reproduce, and it doesn't look like the other machines.
The reason you really want to call it a machine, though, is because it depends on what network they belong to. It's almost like there's two camps. There's the Android camp, and then there's a machine camp. You know, if you think about it like that. And even though this is definitely more Android looking, this new character that has just been born looks more like you than it does the machines that birthed it. He is still hooked up to the machine network.
He also, I would say, he doesn't have a black box. He instead has a machine core.
Yes.
But those are all semantics. Essentially, like what he looks like, how he functions, his purpose in life is not that of the machines; it's that of the androids. So the machines give birth to an android.
I wouldn't think so, because later on in the story, I feel like what he's doing is similar to what the machines are doing.
They're all doing the same thing. They're all killing. They're all in this endless struggle and war that is pointless because they're all the same.
Well,
That's the point. That's like the sole purpose of Nier Automata, I'd say, just to kind of jump ahead real fast, is that they're in this endless cycle of war, but they're all the same. Just like humans in our time now, we're in this endless cycle of war, and we're all really the same. And there's little semantics that are different about us, but no more difference than me or Dan. You know what I mean? Like, oh, he's Italian and I'm Russian, Irish. You know, like it's all semantics, right? So that's the kind of the core and the soul of this game is that the meaninglessness of war and the meaninglessness of trying to identify oneself, you know, with simplistic terms that we're all much more complicated than we initially think we are. But anyway, getting back to this boss fight,
I feel like I took it a little bit differently, actually.
I
mean,
too.
and look, that's the beautiful thing about media. People can take things differently.
yeah, go ahead. We'll just.
But like I said, I took it like there
We'll
was two different camps set up originally. You got the androids and you got the machines. The machines technically are losing. The androids are superior in technology and their tactics. The machines are definitely. They seem like they've got the
androids
number.
were losing most of the time because they're so few in numbers and the machines are everywhere.
Well, you don't know how few in numbers they are because they have it seems to have an endless supply of bodies that can just reconnect. They may have when they're actually uploaded, like in people that are like live and running, there might be less. But it seems like with the ability just to basically it's like an instant respawn point at the bunker.
Well, they have finite resources in the bunker, and that's why the resistance camps exist on Earth to fly.
Oh yeah. They're definitely collecting resources, absolutely.
Yeah.
But they seem to have the superior technology as to where the machines seem to have the numbers. That's the way I took away from it. And then you have this new being where they created, which I think was to battle the androids. I think that was their purpose.
Yes.
And then it comes up with its own new entirety of what it wants to do, its own new purpose. It basically gave itself its own purpose.
So the boss fight, they form together and they create this white viscous liquid, and they create this thing that looks like an android, like I said, and then it learns and it adapts as you're fighting it, and it learns how to speak, it learns your tactics, and you eventually kind of kill it, but then out of the hole you make in its chest, a second version of it climbs out of it and carries the lifeless body of it away, and they become Adam and Eve.
I would say I take this differently because I feel like I understand what you're saying is the game's all about being the same. I feel like the game is more about answering the question is what is human? Because if you take it from what
There's no humans in the game, though.
right, but here's the thing. So the first game you see where Adam is born, the one that are trying to make a baby and are trying to figure out how to do it. I would say that's what they believe human is being able to produce and that stuff from what they've experienced, from what they've read.
Well,
from
both
our
sides
history.
are also throughout the game because you have side quests on this as well. You were
Right.
trying to find out about humanity and figure out because, like, as far as anyone knows, no one's been in contact with humanity except the commander at the bunker.
Right.
When she talks to the humans
Right.
who are stationed on the moon.
But and then from what with Adam and Eve, which is later on in the story, you find out that Adam truly believes that to be human is death.
Yeah, I feel like the main focus of this whole game was what makes you human.
Yeah.
You know,
If
even though human, like humans as a species aren't in the game.
Yeah.
I think you're using the wrong noun. I think what you mean to say is what makes you sentient.